So hello my dear students. So let's dig right into it. So we'll talk about some things, which will make you easier for you to answer questions, and then you'll understand actually what you need to write and what you don't. So these are some simple kind of measures that you'll see that it's not very sophisticated kind of thing or anything like that. It's simple, but it's practically very useful. So let's start with the, and yeah, I forgot to mention that it's for both class 10th and class 12th examination, and it applies to English. It can also apply to other subjects, like social science and all that, but it's more applicable. This I've designed according to the syllabus of English for class 10th and 12th, but you can feel free to watch the video and you can do it in other subjects as well. So let's see. According to my observation as a teacher who has checked CBSE papers before, there are good and bad impressions according to your first person of your answer. Being confident is the key, and don't waste your time trying to stare at the options. Once your gut and brain tells you, keep moving on. So what I mean is, whenever you take a look at the paper, all right, when a person checks the paper, the invigilator will sign the paper and then it will go somewhere else for checking, right? So when we get the paper for checking, what we normally do is we just used to read the first few lines, the first, second, third lines, right? So if the lines that you have written, the first three lines and the last three lines, or maybe sometimes we'll go through the content too. So if the first three lines are correct and your grammar and everything is in place, then that means that your entire answer will be correct, right? So that sets a good expression, or that sets a good example or impression on the person who is checking the paper. And also, don't be stuck in one question. All right, just keep on moving. If you're stuck in one question, then don't try to think about it again and again, because you won't even realize that it'll be too late if you keep on doing that. All right, so let's move on to the other point. So we all know that the pattern has been changed and now it's a whole different pattern, right? So if you practice with the old form, with the old pattern, then the CBSE questions, it will tear you down if you follow the same concept, same old answering pattern. You should not be naive, and overconfident that most questions and objectives that you might feel incredibly easy for you all, but that is not the case. You know that optional questions are more difficult than and confusing than straight questions on which you can score more marks, right? On one, when there's no options, then your mind can think about one answer, but now you got 4 or 5 options. Now your mind has to settle on one, so that becomes problematic, and then you need to put your brain to work to find out the correct answer, right? So what my strategy is for this one is, don't look at the options. Yeah, just look at the questions, or just whatever it is. If it's fill in the blanks, just look at the question. All right, and then after you complete the question, after you complete looking at the question and understand it, try to fit a word that you feel is correct. And then after you do that, check the options. If you have the right word that you have written in the sentence and it is present there in the options, that means you're 100% correct. And if there's something else, some other word in your mind that is in the option section, then that also means that your answer is 100% correct. Because in the subconscious part of the human mind, we always have answers to everything that we see, but we don't remember from the conscious part of the mind. So that is how you can solve these kind of optional questions. Just look at the questions, forget about the options. Alright, so that'll be easy for you to do that. And this is not something you can, you have imagined in your head that it'll be A B C D. I'll just put a tick mark on A B C, whatever you feel like. It's not like that. Optional questions, as I already told you, are even more difficult and confusing because they all look the same. The options, it can be anyone. So before looking at the options, just think about it. And yeah, that's it for that. So the next point will be, do not completely rely on books claiming that sellers make. Outside the book it'll be written, on the cover of the book it'll be written you'll get 90% or plus once you buy the book. And this is the exact example of someone sent to Mars without an oxygen tank. So the oxygen tank here is referred to, of course, your NCERT approved textbook. Why do you need a guidebook for English when you already have the best book from where you will get the question? And that is the one provided by NCERT, right? Don't go through the guidebooks. I've found so many mistakes in the guidebooks that I hate those kind of books and I don't even use it. If it's a sample paper, then it's a different thing. Mock test sample papers, those are good things. You can try on that, but on the latest pattern only, right? Don't go through all this guidebooks and all that. It will confuse you and you'll always be straight from the proper answer. So different book will have different perspective, different authors will have different perspective. So don't follow that. Just go through your NCERT textbook and that is all for it. You don't need anything else. So the other one, make the 15 minutes you get very, very productive, like going through essays, framing, how do you write long answer questions and how much time you can allot to a question. It is just a race against time. So you all know that you get 15 minutes to just take a look at the question paper and then review it, and then you can form your own pattern. But I would suggest you, in the meantime, what you can do is you can just go through the reading section, because there will be 2 or 3 passages. 3 passages. So you need to go through that first in the first 15 minutes and try to understand what the passage is talking about. And after that, if there's some time left, you just need to formulate your answers for the long answer questions. So formulate the, alright, let me show you. Combinating an answer means, if it's a long answer question, you will have the introduction first, right? And then you'll have the content and you have closing remarks or conclusion based on the question. So if the question is for 5 marks or 6 marks or whatever, like essays also, essays and everything, articles and everything. So when you get questions like that, for the first few lines you can just give an introduction of the topic or of the chapter that the question is being asked from, and then you move to the main content, that is your answer, right? And then you give a closing remark on the same thing. That means you have to follow through introduction, content and closing remarks if it's required. If not, then you don't need to follow. Only in those questions where the question asks you, so what do you think about the poet having used of some words like that? What do you think about the poet? You don't need to go through all this trouble. All right, So let's move on to this one. So this one says, do not write everything that you know if it's a 1 or 2 mark question. That signals the evaluators that you know only that chapter. Now I've seen this when I was checking the paper 2 years ago. Yeah, I did it twice. 2 years ago, I did it. I don't remember the name of the place, but yeah, I did it twice. Class 12 question papers, and then I saw that for questions that are of 1 or 2 marks, students have written an entire page of answers. What is the use of it? The maximum marks that you're going to get, no matter how correct your answer is, it's 1 or 2. So there's no point in extending your answer or exaggerating the answer. You know, the person who is checking the paper will not think that, oh, you're so intelligent that you have written everything about it. You know what we think? We will think that you know only that chapter. That's why you have written everything about it. So don't do that. All right? Just be concise, precise, and to the point when it comes to questions of 1 or 2 marks. Right? Next one. Do not write one answer twice, hoping to get marks for both, because it is literally impossible to do that, and no one has gotten away with that, because the system that evaluators have to perform, it is foolproof system. That means you cannot fool them. For example, I'll just put a picture somewhere in between so that you can get an idea of how the marks are allotted. All right, so by that you'll understand how you can't cheat. And then let's move to the next one. It says, don't ever dwell around or get stuck in any question. Do the ones you're comfortable with, and at the end you'll get the 1, 2. So just like I said, do not dwell around, meaning just stop writing if you don't know the answer, and move on to a more confident question, or more confident question that has more confident answer in your mind. So go for that. And at the end, after you've done everything, and after you feel that you have completed everything, then you can come back to the question. When your mind is free, then you'll be able to get the answer by itself. It happens a lot of times, so no need to worry about that. Just leave it for a while and then come back later. You'll surely get the answer. Okay, so the last one, let's see. It says, make yourself familiar with the new set of questions. So what it means is, you need to be familiar with the type of questions that you're getting in the examination, because this is the first time that you'll get a new pattern, right? So just download some sample patterns, or you can download some PDFs from the internet, from CBSE website, sample papers and all that, so that you get an idea of what kind of questions you'll be getting and what's the marking scheme and all that, so that when you get the question paper you won't feel odd, so it'll be easier for you. And also what it helps to do is time management. When you get the mock test papers, you can adjust your time accordingly, and then sit like you're sitting in a proper examination, and then do it. Try it for once, and if you do it within 3 hours or earlier, then that's fine. But if you can't, then you need to make a proper framework for your structural writing pattern. So that's it for that. Now, alright, so the other one, always remember or know the format or formulae, etc. So what it means, obviously in English we don't have any formula, and what I mean by that is, actually you need to remember the format. Format gives you 1 mark, like the format of letter writing. What should be in the top, what should be in the middle, what should be in the bottom, all that, right? So all those carry 1 mark each. So you need to have the proper knowledge about how the format should be. Like the format for notice writing. Example, it will be a box with notice written on the top, and then the name of the institution or society or whatever it is, dash notice board. Alright, so if it's a school's notice board, it will be written XYZ schools notice board, and then whatever notice is given over there. So that's the format, right? And for debate, the format will be, firstly, you will be giving a short introduction about your topic and why you choose for or against that topic. And after that, you'll start arguing about it. After that, you'll start defending that yes, whatever side that I picked is true. You cannot use stuff which will say, okay, it might be true that the positive side also is there, but there are more negative sides to something. You can't say that. If you mean, or if you are backing that it is negative, then you will never say that something is positive. So if, for example, let's say the debate is about technology and its effect on human beings, and let's say you have chosen to go against it. So while you're going against it, your entire debate that you have written should be against it, not for it. So you can't say sometimes technology is useful, because that will contradict your very question or very statement. You are saying that it's not useful. You are saying that it is harmful. So be aware of that. It will just when you talk about that, then it will make it redundant. That means whatever you're saying does not match with the next paragraph or next line that you yourself are saying. That's contradictory to yourself. So don't do that. And okay, this is the one that I already talked about. When optional questions are given, cover up the options with your hand, and try to get the word that you think might be true, and after that remove your hand and that option, if the option is there, you have done it, right? Easy. Do not look at the questions or the options first. Just take a look at the question, and the first word that pops in your head, if it's in the options, then it's jackpot again. So that's what I'm saying. Don't look at the options first. You just need to go through the sentence. The word will come by itself. But if you go through the options first and then you go through the sentence, then it will mess up your entire mind. And grammar test questions, you have to practice grammar test questions. So I'm making another video on grammar, and I've researched for about 3 or 4 weeks about it, and I've found some ideas that I can share, which will help you even if you don't know the meaning of the answer. I mean, meaning of the sentence, or even if you don't know the meaning of a word or something, you can still write it. You can still get the right answer. So I'll post it after a few days, but for now you just need to remember everything that I talked about right now. And then if there's any problem, you just hit me in the comment section. And then if there's anything else you want to know, you can just text me in the comment section. And if there's any topic that you guys want me to cover, you can just hit me in the comment sections below. Alright, so I hope you liked this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's useful for you. Alright, so see you until the next one, and best of luck. Peace.